Good afternoon, Lord Mayor and everybody. On the 23rd of January, I sent Councillor Miskell and the Transport Regeneration and Climate Change Committee an admittedly very long list of questions compiled by a group of climate activists from various groups. Some of these questions have been answered, thank you, but some not. You can see the progress of the questions and answers on my blog, tellthetruthsheffield.org. Now, the climate emergency is accelerating at a terrifying pace. For instance, in 1980, global temperatures had increased by 0.5 degrees C since the pre-industrial period. It then took another 30 years for temperatures to reach 1 degrees in 2010. 14 years later, today, temperatures have now increased by a further 0.5 degrees. So we're now 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. And that's the temperature that climate scientists have long warned us will lead to unstoppable feedback loops and possibly eventually the hothouse Earth scenario, where the planet will eventually become uninhabitable. Just last week, on average, global temperatures were 1.8 degrees above the pre-industrial period. So in the light of these horrific figures, I'd like to ask some questions about housing that we asked previously but haven't been answered yet, and especially since the new schemes are coming on board in Neepsend and Furnace Hill. First of all, will the council commit to building all future council-owned or managed housing to a high energy efficiency or operationally net zero standard in 2024? Secondly, a fabric-first approach to building design involves prioritising the building envelope, that means the walls, the roofs, the floors, the windows and the doors, to create a high-performance, energy-efficient building. Will the council require developers to use a fabric-first approach in all new developments? Thirdly, will the council require developers to carry out a whole life cycle carbon assessment of new build developments in 2024? Fourthly, will the council remove the minimum parking requirements for new residential homes in 2024? And finally, and perhaps most importantly, will the council require 20% or above on-site renewable energy generation for new building developments in 2024? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe. As you implied in your questions, this has given us something of a problem. I think you asked something like 64 questions under freedom of information, and some of those are still being processed. And some of these questions, in fact, indeed, I think all these questions are duplicates of ones you've already asked, and answers have been prepared to some of your questions, as you said, but some have not yet been prepared. So what we are going to do today is we'll ensure that you get full written answers to all your questions rather than getting unsatisfactory verbal answers today. Thank you.
Very disappointing.